And good evening and welcome to Time Warner Communication, Hawthorne and Lawndale City Cable's presentation of Hawthorne High Cougar football as they take on the Peninsula Panthers today. We're about to start the national anthem. We'll give it just a couple seconds as we tune in.
We got national anthem up. Stand by, dissolve to one. One's hot. Who's singing? Okay. Stand by four, dissolving to four. Four is hot. Stand by three, dissolving to three. Three is hot. Stand by, dissolve to one. And dissolving to one. One's hot. Stand by, ready to dissolve to two. Stand by four, dissolving to four. Dissolving to four. Four's hot. Stand by, ready to dissolve to two. Stand by three, dissolving to three. Three's hot. Stand by, ready to dissolve to two. And dissolving to two. Two's hot.
Well, there you have it, folks. There's our national anthem, and we're ready for some football here on this gorgeous Friday night. Well, this rivalry used to be one of the most heated rivalries in the whole South Bay, but the teams are having somewhat of a down year this year as both teams are coming in this affair winless. Peninsula's coming in with a record of 0-1-2. Yes, that's two ties, folks. They're not playing hockey, they're playing football. And Hawthorne is coming in with a record of 0-3, and they have yet to win a game in their last 13 contests. There's a lot of changes going on this year for the Hawthorne High Cougars. This year, they've come in with their third new coach in the last 3 years as head coach Darryl Brown has taken the helm here at Halkett Field. We'll get to more changes in just a second. We're getting ready for the kickoff. Dave Marks and Rufus Washington will be joining us momentarily. I will be filling in the meantime. As we see Peninsula about to kick off towards the south direction of the field. Hawthorne High is returning, and you're going to have to bear with me. I do not have a roster for the Peninsula High Panthers. I do have one for the Hawthorne High Cougars. Dave Marks, the man who's late, was supposed to bring it in, so we're going to have to work around that. So this year, of course, with the newly realigned leagues, Hawthorne is in the Ocean League. Peninsula is playing in the Bay League. Peninsula is coming off a playoff appearance last year where they lost in the first round to the Division III champions Notre Dame, and there's the kick. It's pretty deep, and it's going to be returned by number 11, Danha Lampidi, and it rolls for a touchback. So Hawthorne's going to start off the ball at the 20-yard line as we saw a great kick there. Like I said, I do not have a roster, but I do believe that is their kicker by the name of Jordan Kay. He is being recruited by numerous schools, which include Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State. He is the best kicker here in the South Bay. He's 5'10", 190-pound senior. He could be the X factor in this game. And we're going to get a look at this new Hawthorne High offense right out the gate as they have implemented a double wing T offense with their new offensive coordinator, Jason Miller, who's come in through Inglewood High School, and most of the staff here is from Inglewood High. As we see the first play from scrimmage, that's number 23, I believe. Let's get a look on who that was. It's number 23. We do not have, actually, that's Taj Johnson. Cougars looking to get back to the huddle, gain of 3 yards. Peninsula Panthers, like I said, are coming off that playoff appearance, but they've yet to win this year. They have 3 tough games. They had a loss to Division 10 runner-up Sarah, which was their only loss of the year, and their other ties were against a school by the name of Highland, and the other tie was against Linwood, who is a powerhouse in Division 3. See Hawthorne with the pitch, pushes up the middle and gets tackled for about a gain of 2. As we see, this is something we usually don't see with the Hawthorne High Cougars. This double wing T offense has been implemented, has produced some numbers, most notably in a game against Long Beach Jordan, where they ended up losing by a score of 22-19, but did produce a lot of offense, 358 total yards and 169 yards on the ground. That's been their biggest offensive production game so far this year. We have third down and about 6, and we're going to have a false start at the line as number 88, Samoni Mafui Cooley, jumped off, the junior, weighing in at 225, 6'5". That's going to set the Cougars back 5 yards. As I was saying, Peninsula is coming in winless. They're looking to get their first win. They came into the season ranked number 4 by the Daily Breeze in their preseason poll and number 8 in the CIF Southern Section Division III poll. So somewhat of a slow start for the Panthers. So you look at the Cougars. The quarterback keeper running the far side of the field, and he's going to get dragged down for about a gain of 4. And it looks like the Hawthorne High specials teams is going to come on for a punt. And at quarterback today, we do have Taj Johnson. Usually at quarterback for the Hawthorne High Cougars is their second-year starting quarterback, Raheem Stevens, the senior, coming in at 6'1", 205 pounds. Looks like he is not starting at quarterback today. Special teams units on. For some reason, Peninsula's looking to get someone in the backfield to return it. They're finally getting someone back there. Snap's good. Kick is up high, doesn't have too much distance. And it's misplayed by the Panthers. The ball's loose. We have a dog pile at the midfield. And the Panthers have recovered. So right off the bat, a miscue by the Panther special team. That's something they cannot do. They cannot afford to do this in this game. That was one of the things that Coach Tony Uruburu discussed when he said the Panthers need to improve on their ball handling skills and need to work harder at better efficiency and timing on their plays. And Peninsula's coming in here, not too many changes offensively. They're still running that power option offense, and they are led by star halfback Jordan Moonday, the 6'2", 200-pound senior. As we get a look at him right off the bat as he takes it up the middle, breaks a couple tackles for a gain of 13. Moonday is an all-area player, led the South Bay last year in rushing. Moonday is coming off 126 yards, 24 carry performance with 1 touchdown. That was in the 14-14 tie against Highland. Last year, Moonday annihilated defenses all across the South Bay with a total of 1,911 yards, 19 touchdowns on 318 carries. He led the area in rushing. And that was being banged up a couple times, too, throughout the season. There we see a big hole up the middle. He punches it right down there and gets a big gain of about 20 yards. And the Panthers have moved the chains very fast as we're getting started here at Halkett Field. We have 9:41 left on the clock in the first quarter. So the Cougars defense has had its bright moments this year. They only gave up a total of 170 yards last week to the Crenshaw High Cougars. Yes, it was the Cougars versus the Cougars. Good defensive performance there, and that's one of the things that the Panthers said they needed to do is come in here and expose that Cougar defense. There's another give to Moonday, and finally he's dragged down after about a gain of 2, and the ball's loose. Cougars are signaling they've recovered it.
Get in there. Get in there. Take one. One's hot.
And that was a false accusation as the Panthers did recover that fumble. Moonday gets up. So the Cougars looking for their first win in their last 13 efforts. It's been a rough start for the Cougars, not to say that they haven't played one of the most brutal, tough, hard-fought non-league schedules a team could ask for, as they started off with Loyola, the Cubs, one of the powerhouses in Division I football. They then went on to play Long Beach Jordan and almost nearly squeaked out a win. And there we get a look at Monday, taking it straight up the middle. It's going to take about 3 men to bring him down. He's finally brought down by number 11, Danja Lamptey, who's a free safety for the Hawthorne High Cougars. And we have number 73, Matili Lasiki, coming in, and number 78, Craig Mobley, coming out for the Cougars. As we get a look at the Cougar sideline. Looking poised and ready for this interleague contest against one of their longtime rivals, the Peninsula Panthers. Panthers coming up. It's been all Moonday here so far. He's gotten every single touch thus far. And we get another look at him. He's taking it straight up the middle. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's the old motto. And Moonday picks up the first down, and we're going to have a 1st and goal here. So the Cougars were looking for a big stop. Nothing was doing. And this is not what the Cougars had envisioned coming in this game. They do not want to get behind early in this game, as that was the case in their first 3 games. And, of course, their 3rd game was against the Crenshaw High Cougars, where they lost by a score of 34-0. It's been somewhat an improvement last year. It's not too hard to not improve when the team goes 0-10, with their only win actually being defaulted due to an ineligible player who is Thomas Brown, who is now playing wide receiver at Harbor City College and making some noise out there for a Harbor City College team that isn't faring too well this year. Cougars last year defensively gave up 38 points per game. Yes, a whopping 38 points per game. This year they're down to an average of 29. Even though the scores haven't looked too much in their favor, they have improved in their non-league games, as last year their non-league schedule did not look anything close. Sola defeated them 27-0 in the first game. Long Beach Jordan 22-19 in a game that came down to the Cougars just missing a couple of 2-point conversions. And, of course, last week the 34-0 loss to Crenshaw. So you have a big goal line stand here. Cougars are small up at the line offensively and defensively. That could be a big problem for them. And there we get a look. And there's Moonday taking up straight up the middle for the touchdown. And the Peninsula Panthers are on top already, 6-0. So Coach Tony Ruberu has to be pleased with that. The 4th-year coach coming in with a total overall record of 19-14. As we get a look at the replay, Moonday takes it straight up the hole, was virtually untouched, lowered his shoulders, and took it in for the score. As there we get a look at him being heavily recruited by numerous Pac-10 schools throughout the country, and also getting some look from some Ivy League schools. And the kick is up, and that's good. And there we get a look at their star kicker, Jordan Kay, who unfortunately missed a clutch 49-yard field goal with seconds remaining against Highland last week. A rare miss. I'm told the kick was wide right by inches. So Moonday, as I said, being recruited by numerous Pac-10 schools throughout the area and also by some Ivy League schools. I'm told he has a 4.0 grade point average, and that doesn't hurt when you're looking to get into some Ivy League schools. So Hawthorne's down by a score of 7-0 early. We have 7:37 left on the clock as we get a look at the Panthers special teams unit here. Last year, Peninsula Panthers ended the season with a 7-5 record, 2-2 in league. Of course, they play in what is a brutally tough Bay League, and there's no slouches in that league. Let me tell you, folks, that league consists of Losinger High School, Peninsula, Maricosa, the 3-time defending Bay League champion, Inglewood High School, and Beverly Hills High. All teams are top-of-the-line teams in Division III football. And that kick is going to go back for another touchback. With Jordan Kay here kicking, it doesn't look like the Hawthorne Cougars special teams unit is going to get too many looks at any returns. So the Cougars offensive units coming on the field. Cougars, like I said, had that real tough non-league schedule. Next week they face a Maricosa team, and it's not going to get any easier with them. As number 33, Terrell Kendall, was in motion there. He got the handoff and took it straight up the middle for about a gain of 1. It's real hard for the Cougars to muster up too much offense. They have an undersized line, an inexperienced line. Predominant amount of their offensive defense are juniors. They don't have too many returning seniors. Defensively, they have 5 returning starters who are seniors on the defensive side of the ball. Styles Johnson takes a snap, hands it off. Nothing doing there. He's brought down by number 53 for the Peninsula Panthers. As Terrell Kendall looking to pick up some yards there. He gets stopped on 2 consecutive downs.
Focus. There you go.
Kendall's going to come off the field.
Stand by ready 2.
Headed back on the field now.
take.
Peninsula Panthers with their 5-2 defense. They've basically been running this for years as they have that power option.
Three, tight, tight.
Got a wide out far screen.
Stand by ready, two, take two.
Takes a snap. That ball's loose. There's miscommunication there. It's still loose, and it's going to be recovered. The Cougars fortunately recover that fumble there. There's miscommunication there by Taz Johnson and the halfback for the Cougars. So we're going to have another 4th down here, deep in Cougar territory, and of course the special teams unit's going to come on. Good, hard, strong, sturdy defense there for the Panthers.
Stand by two, take two.
As Jordan Munde is going to go back for the punt. He's also taking their punts.
Got a kick here.
That could be an explosive weapon there. Sorry, folks, we do not have the Peninsula Panthers roster just yet.
Stand by one, take one.
So I'm going based off prior knowledge of players I've seen from last year.
And take two.
It's a snap. It's a bad snap. It goes over the punter's head, and he's going to just lay on it. He's going to take the safety there.
Take one, one's high.
So it's going to be a 9-0 lead here for the Peninsula Panthers, as punter Devon Clark had no chance of retrieving that snap. It was about 5 feet over his head. I don't even think someone as the likes of Randy Moss could have snatched that one out there. Went straight in the end zone, and now the Panthers are up by a score of 9-0. An unfortunate mistake for the Cougars, who last week had a total of 7 turnovers. That is just a fork in the heart there. That is a killer. That's something the Cougars cannot afford at this point in season, especially with a young team and a new offense that they've implemented. Mistakes like that can do nothing but hurt this Cougar campaign here in the year of 2003. So we have the 3rd coach in here for the Cougars in the last 3 years. Of course, 2 years ago we had head coach Swain, who did a fair job in his, I believe, 3 years here. And the year after that we had Coach Martin French, who I'm told is now the defensive coordinator at Venice High School. And now we have head coach Darryl Brown. As we get a look at the scores, 9-0 Peninsula Panthers. And, of course, the Cougars are going to have to kick from their own 20-yard line, which is farther back than the norm. And that's going to be what you would call a little squibble kick straight up the middle. It's recovered nicely by number 4. He has room, but he gets ran into by his own teammate. An unfortunate mistake, as he had nothing but grass in front of him, as number 8 was looking to put a block on a Cougar special team player, but ended up running straight into number 4. And he's going to have to get credit for that tackle. Superb tackle there by number 8. So the Cougars defense coming on the field.
Stand by ready, one.
They looked overwhelmed and overpowered on that last series, as Jordan Munde took it straight up the gut on numerous occasions and finally capitalized it with that 4-yard touchdown run that initially put the Panthers up 6-0. As the Panthers line up, wide out, I formation. It's going to be a quick give to the fullback after about a gain of 5 yards there. One thing about the Cougars defense, though, they do have an experienced defensive backfield, as every single starter in their backfield is a senior.
What's the
Second down here, about 5 to go. Of course, there's number 24, Daniel Dennis. He's a senior. There's number 5, Anthony Bell, who was supposed to be their premier back this year. He's a senior. He's playing cornerback. It's another I formation. Munde's going to take it straight up the gut. He finally gets taken down after about an 8-yard gain. So Munde's had nothing but positive yards gain in each touch he's got thus far in the game. To finish off that backfield for the Hawthorne High Cougars, there's Donha Lamptey. He's playing safety back there for the Cougars. He's also a senior, as we look at the Hawthorne High Cougars coaching staff. Darryl Brown giving some words of wisdom to the Cougar defense. Good shot there of both lines. And there's another give to Munde. He has open field, and no one's going to catch him. His speed is just a little bit too much. And Munde takes it in for his second touchdown of the game. And now the Peninsula Panthers are up by a score of 15-0. So Munde showing why he was an all-area halfback last year, as he had a big run there of 30-plus yards. So now the Panthers with a decent lead of 15-0. And we're going to look at the replay. Jordan Moonday taken in. He was untouched on that play. He saw nothing but green grass in front of him, and he took it in for his second touchdown of the game. And finally, Rufus Washington is joining the broadcast booth as we get a look at the extra point kick. That's up and good, as we see the reaction there by the Peninsula Panther sideline. Rufus Washington is joining the broadcast booth. We sure did miss him last week for the losing our Olympian Alta Loma game. It's great to see Rufus Washington. How you doing, Rufus?
Scott, I'm doing well, thank you, and you're too kind. My apologies to all the fans for being just a few minutes late. Of course, if you're from Southern California, traffic is no stranger to you. And in spite of my best intentions, got caught up in it just a little bit, but I'm pleased to be here. And we've got a lot to cover. Looks like it's been a good game so far.
Indeed it has, but not too good for the Cougars. They're already down by a score of 16-0. I've already informed the listeners we do not have a Peninsula Panther roster as of yet. We're waiting for Dave Marks, who has the rosters. But we will work around that.
Okay.
Being the professional that Rufus is, we will work around that.
Well, you're exactly right, Scott. We'll certainly do our very best. And the key thing here is that, as you mentioned, Hawthorne already finding himself down here only in the first quarter by a margin of 16-0. This being a rather difficult year thus far for the Cougars. I believe that they come in, 0-3 is it?
0-3 the Cougars are.
0-3 last weekend, took a 34-0 spanking at the hands of Crenshaw. And right now this makes they're approaching 5 consecutive quarters of scoreless football. A storied program here, though. In fact, both of these programs, the Peninsula Panthers as well, struggling a little bit themselves this year. In years gone by, and fans of Channel 22 Sports know that these two programs have traditionally been two of the most dominant high school football programs in the South Bay. But right now, taking their lumps.
That they are, Rufus, as the Cougars are looking to get back on the offensive side of the ball here.
They have possession of it. It's a 1st and 10. They start at the 20 on the Panther touchback, and we've got a flag thrown. That flag, of course, was thrown as the play got underway, typically an indication that it's going to go against the offense. And that's the indication from our referee there. Procedure penalty against the Cougars. That'll back them up 5. And now to make it a 1st and 15 from here at Hal Cap Field. They've got the field striped this year. I got to give the Cougar athletic staff a lot of credit. Field looks in fairly good condition. I'll have to ask somebody what the significance of the green coloring is. Considering their colors are burgundy and gold, you would think perhaps burgundy or gold. But
a little too early for St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yeah, you got that right. Or a little too late, depending on your perspective. But Cougars keep it on the ground. Get about 3 back out of that 5 that they lost. Call it 4, so it's going to make it a 2nd down and 11 now. Ball just outside the, or I should say, approaching the 20-yard line. Once again, here's a pitch back from the Cougar quarterback, and that is going to be stopped for a loss on the play. They're going to lose, about 3 on that play.
Rufus, the Cougars have had a tough time mustering up some offense thus far. They have 3 possessions and have gained possibly in the negative yards. I don't have a statistician here, but they've yet to achieve a 1st down, and it's been a lot of yards lost on handoffs. Having a tough time getting the ground game going here.
Cougars, of course, this year have a new head coach. I'm sure much to Scott's pleasure, considering his somewhat rocky and tenuous relationship with the former coaching staff here at Hawthorne. Once again, to keep it on the ground, and as Scott so duly noted, really having a difficult time getting untracked here. That play stopped for little or no gain as well. It's going to make it a 4th. So on that particular possession, Scott, the Cougars actually, if you look at where the sideline markers are, that was a negative drive. They ended up losing 3 on the drive.
Yeah, it's been 3 consecutive outings of 3 and out. They've yet to achieve a first down. It's the 3rd time the punting team is on the field, and we're not even through with the first quarter yet.
The return unit for Peninsula sets up at midfield. They are going to feel the fumble on the play, but looks like it's going to be recovered by one of the Peninsula deep men at the Cougar 40-yard line. So with 2:37 left here in the first quarter at Halcap Field, Peninsula already leading by a margin of 16-0, takes possession 1st and 10 at the Cougar 40-yard line.
And to our delight, Rufus, this year we do have somewhat of an admirable scoreboard over there. All the bulbs are in place. It's not too hard to read the scoreboard as been in prior years.
And you're right. And we noted some of the other improvements as well. Peninsula keeping it on the ground. Running player picks up the first down and then some as they break it off for about 13 yards on that play. Takes it down to the inside the 25. Inside the 30, I should say, to about the 27-yard line, where it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Excuse me, the Peninsula Panthers. And I'm going to gather, although I haven't had a chance to meet him yet, that gentleman in the photo we just saw was head coach Darryl Brown. First-year head coach here for the Cougars, Darryl Brown. So, Peninsula, 1st and 10 at the Cougar 27-yard line. Keeping it on the ground once again this time. Cougar defense stops them after a gain of about 3. They cross the 25, take it down to about the 24. So we're going to call it a 2nd down and 7. We've got 1:45 clock running here in the first quarter. And another thing that losing, not winning. I'll try to keep it a positive spin on it. That not winning, it doesn't bring your fans out. As I walked into Halcap Stadium tonight, I mean, you could just about pick a seat anywhere you wanted. And as we see in years gone by, man, you couldn't buy a ticket to this game. Inside handoff, keep it on the ground, burst straight up the middle by number 4. He's going to go in untouched. At the 108 mark, a 24-yard touchdown run for the Panther. In jersey number 4, as Scott noted, we were not accorded a roster by the Peninsula Panther program, so we can only give it to you by the numbers.
As we get a look at the replay there, number 4 goes untouched, and that's the 2nd touchdown in a row that a Peninsula Panther halfback has gone in untouched.
Wow. Extra point attempt coming up. There's the snap, the placement, the kick is up, and it's good. So our margin now, still with a minute left in the first quarter, Scott. 23-0, favor of Peninsula.
Well, the Peninsula Panthers have just come out on fire. The Cougars are having a tough time getting a good push down in the trenches. Their defensive line is getting no momentum, and the Panthers' offensive line is getting the big push. Therefore, the Peninsula Panther halfbacks have just been having a field day.
Well, as you said, Scott, when you're going 3 and out consistently, it's going to be hard to get any points on the board. The Cougars are going to have to mount some type of stand, and if nothing else, they've got to push the ball deeper into Peninsula territory if you want to stem this tide. Oops. When it's only a 50-yard field, and we've lost some contact here with the monitor, just so that the truck knows we are operating without the benefit of the monitor at this point in time. It has gone out on us. I think it's something that occurred up here. I'm sure it'll be addressed momentarily. Indication by the officials of a touchback. We're going to look to see where they spot it. They should spot it at the 20, and they do. So, yet again, the Cougars will be on offense. Scott, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. with a minute remaining here in the first as they trail by a score of 23-0. That shouldn't stop us from letting the folks know that we've got some exciting football coming up on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, and we'll get to some of that in just a moment. Cougars once again keeping the ball on the ground. One of the things about when you get behind by this type of margin, Scott, sooner or later you're going to have to go to the air.
That is true, Rufus. At this point, being down by 23 points this early, that might have to be the option here. I know they've implemented a double wing T offense, which usually favors the ground game, but when you're down by this big of margin this early in the game, you might have to open it up just a little bit.
You send the man in motion, pitch back is to the inside, and that goes nowhere.
The undersized, inexperienced Hawthorne Cougar offensive line is having a tough time opening up holes for the halfback and the wing backs for the Hawthorne High Cougars.
You're still hot, one. Still hot.
Let's get a look here. Cougars are still down by 23 points. Waning seconds here in the first quarter, and that's going to do it. They're going to hold third down for the second quarter. Peninsula coming in this game, as we said, is coming off a playoff appearance last year, first round defeat at the hands of Notre Dame. And the year before that was their first time in their program's history that they did not make the playoffs. So a bounce back year last year. I'm sure the coaching staff led by Tony Rubiro would have liked to get that first round win against Notre Dame, but it's pretty hard to do so against a team like that who's dominated Division III football for years on end now.
Absolutely, and the Cougars, at least to my knowledge here tonight, get to cross midfield for the first time, albeit it's merely the change of quarters, so they're going in the other direction. Let's see if they can advance the football under their own muster across. It's a 3rd and long. They're at the 23. They need to get out to the 30 to pick up the first down.
Big third down here.
Quarterback keeper turns it up the field. He's going to pick up the first down. Then some, cuts it back inside, gets it out to the 41-yard line. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Cougars. A little something positive to get the second quarter started.
That was a superb quarterback keeper there by Taj Johnson. He had a great block upfield, and that enabled him to pick up the first down, their first down of the game.
And now we do have, I'm not sure how it came back, whether it was something I did or through the miracle of modern science and television, that we got it back. Fumble on the play. Let's see who has possession. The indication is that the Cougars maintain possession, and in fact, may have picked up a yard or so on the fumble.
And Rufus, that's the second time the Cougars offense have had trouble handling the ball. They almost fumbled away a pitch earlier in the game, and they cannot afford to have mistakes like that, especially being down by the score of 23-0.
So it's a 2nd down, and the scoreboard shows it as a 7. That's what we'll go with. And we're going to have a stoppage of play by the official. An official stoppage of play before the ball is snapped. They repossession the football.
Misplacement of the ball there.
Put it on the hash mark. In this case, it would be the left hash mark for the offense. Once again, keeping it on the ground. Quarterback keeper, and get that for you. We got number 23, Taj Johnson. Johnson, a sophomore in the program, listed at 5'6", 155. So the Cougars very young at quarterback this year. Once again, man in motion, they roll it out. Johnson puts it under his arm, shows every intent of running, and gets out near midfield.
Johnson is doing a superb job of following his blockers. He had 4 Cougar blockers there and ran with them perfectly and almost picked up the first down. It's going to be real close. We might have to bring out the chains here.
Well, from the spot across the field, looks like they're going to be about a half a yard short. Big decision here for the Cougar coaching staff. And that's the indication, as you can see from the referee, that they are half a yard short. You gamble here, Scott, or you kick it away and pin Peninsula, play a little position football?
At this point, being down by 23, you have to go for it. You need to build some sort of momentum, as the Cougars have yet to gain any.
Well, let's see if they try to draw them off. And, well, there's going to go that notion as one of the offensive linemen, looked like one of the guards for the Cougars, lost his balance. He didn't willfully do it. Looks like he lost his balance, and that, of course, drew the referee's flag. That, in turn, will now force the Cougars into a kicking situation as it's a 4th and 6.
Cougars,
4th and 5.5.
Cougars special teams is coming on once again, but the Panthers have had their share of problems here, special teams-wise, returning these punts. Let's see what happens here.
Kick. It's a high kick. Looks like it's going to be a short one. Takes a good bounce, surrounded by a host of Cougars, and they will eventually down it at the 23-yard line. So at the 23, with 8:47 left in the first half, Peninsula takes over, leading by a score of 23-0. But there were some positives on that possession for the Cougars, Scott.
The Cougars did muster up a little bit of offense there, not enough to get them any points on the board, but hopefully next time the offense takes the field, that will get them a little bit of momentum. What I am really impressed with is the Peninsula Panthers' tackling techniques. They did a good job of wrapping up the Cougars and also tackling low. They've done a superb job of tackling. Great technique.
All right, Cougar defense being put to the test now. Peninsula keeps it on the ground. Good gang tackling by the Cougars on that play. Stops them after a short gain. They're going to call it a gain of about 2.5 or so.
And the Cougars' biggest defensive lineman there, Mateli Lasiki, was in on that tackle, and he could plug up a lot of holes there with that big body. That's what they're going to need him to do with Jordan Munde in the backfield for the Panthers.
So it's a 2nd down and 7 for the Panthers. Backs are split. They keep it on the ground. Here's a handoff to number 34. Cougars do bring him down, but not until after he picks up about 5, maybe 6 on it. He's going to be out near a first down. One of the things the Cougars need right now, more than anything else, is that they need a defensive stop.
They've yet to stop this Panther offense. This is going to be a crucial 3rd down for the Hawthorne High Cougars.
Who makes the play, okay? And follow that person, Nils, okay?
Of course, 3rd and 1 does put a lot more pressure on the defense. Cougars coming here will obviously be hoping for some help from Peninsula, maybe in the form of a procedure penalty. They don't get it. They keep the ball on the ground. They pick up the first down as 34 rumbles through out to the 43-yard line where the side judge says, let's mark it right here.
And that's been the Achilles heel so far for the Cougars is Jordan Munde. He's done a great job of just pounding it straight up the middle, and the offensive line for the Panthers have been opening up big holes for him. At this point, if they can not contain Munde, you got to think that the Cougars are going to have to start stacking up 8 or 9 men in the box, even though that could be a liability for their backfield and could open up a passing game for the Panthers. But thus far, they've yet to stop Munde.
Well, this time they do stop the running game. In fact, they stop it for a loss on the play. Looks like a loss of about 1. So it's a game, Scott, of a number of little positive things working together, and that's what the Cougars are going to need. They get one positive here, that they stop them on first down, makes it a 2nd and long. They're going to show it as a 2nd and 11.
Cougars sure do have some nice-looking uniforms this year, don't they, Rufus?
Looks like they got a new set straight from the manufacturer. Once again, keep it on the ground. They let number 34 get to the outside, turns it upfield, picks up a first down. You got to start keying on that guy, Scott. I've only been here almost a quarter now. And the one thing that's become readily apparent to me is number 34 is the guy they're going to give it to.
That is Jordan Munde. He's being heavily recruited by numerous Pac-10 schools. On top of that, some Ivy League schools, because I'm told he gets good grades. He was all-area halfback last year, almost ran for 2,000 yards and ended up missing a couple games. So superb numbers there for Jordan Munde.
Cougar defense overruns the play that time and allows the running back to pick up 6 yards on the play. Is going to make it a 2nd down and 4. Peninsula in Cougar territory at the Cougar 40-yard line. Speaking of running backs from years gone by, last weekend, and I know a lot of fans tuned into it, the Cal SC game.
Yes.
Echamonde, whom we covered right here, fine running back for the Cal Bears, had a career day, I believe 147 yards on the day as Cal pulled the big upset. And it was a real pleasure, Scott, I got to tell you, to see, some of the kids, and we've seen a few of them over the years, go on to success at the next level. And Echamonde being one of the latest in a line of Cougars over the years that go back to my involvement to the days of Curtis Conway and Travis Hanna. Conway, of course, played on this very field here at Halcap Field at Hawthorne High School along with Travis Hanna. Conway still in the NFL, now with the Jets, having been drafted first by the Bears, played in San Diego, and now with the Jets. Travis Hanna, who lined up on the other side of the field as the opposite receiver from him, played a couple of years with the old Houston Oilers.
It's great to see old Cougars having success at the next level.
Once again, Peninsula keeping the ball on the ground, and now they're just eating up ground as they go. The only upside for the Cougars is, gosh, continues to run the clock. Well, it's not even an upside for them. They can't get their hands on the ball. Clock winds down to 4:20 and rolling.
Yeah, I indeed did watch that game last week between Cal and Los Angeles' beloved USC Trojans. It was an impressive performance there by Echamonde.
So it's a 2nd and short for Peninsula. Once again, keeping the ball on the ground. Here's a big hole. They turn it inside. Looks like if Ford kept it to the outside, it may have gotten the score. Cougar defense as they recover from the tackle. A couple of guys a little slow to get up, and I think that slowness is more out of born of frustration. But this is when you got to stay strong, Scott. There's a lot of football left in this season as you watch the replay.
You watch the replay, he goes untouched for about 15 yards, and finally he dragged down 4 yards away from the end zone.
That was number 24 for the Cougars. And on that tackle, we'll get him in your program. That was Daniel Dennis.
Cougars do a fine job there of plugging up a hole. Great goal line defense. What was even more impressive by that running performance that Echamonde put on last Saturday was that he did it against a USC Trojan defense that was ranked number 4 in rushing defense in the country. Superb job by the Cougar alum.
Absolutely. Well, it's a 2nd and goal from about the 3-yard line for Peninsula. Keep it on the ground and give it number 34. He goes around the left side, gets in for the touchdown. That's going to add another 6 on the board for Peninsula. It's going to extend their already large lead to now 29-0.
That is Munde's 3rd touchdown of the game. As he takes it right there, far side of the field, gets wrapped up, but it was a little too late as the momentum pushed them in the end zone. The Cougars have dug themselves in a big hole here. And now the Panthers are going to come on and kick the extra point as we get a look once again at their star kicker, Jordan Kay.
And judging from his size, Scott, here's the kick. It's up, and it's good. So that makes our score now 24-0 in favor of Peninsula. What I was going to say about the kid number 34 is I look at his size, man, and, you know, I do a little basketball coaching on the side. I could use a guy his size. Of course, it'd help me if he was in the 8th grade because that's the level I'm coaching now. But as I understand it, he's, what, a senior?
He is a senior.
Can't use him on my team, but I suspect that we're going to see him when we switch over later in the year, fans, as you know we always do here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 to our basketball coverage, that we may see him on the hardwood. This production, of course, being brought to you by Lawndale's Community Cable in conjunction with Hawthorne Cable, as well as the good folks at Time Warner Communications. This is our 17th and best year of bringing you the very best in, I should say 16th rather, the very best in South Bay High School sports. Cougars set up to receive. Kick is a good deep kick, is going to be taken at about the 5-yard line. The return is on and bring it up the middle. Got some running room, breaks a couple of tackles as he gets it out to the 35-yard line.
Well, that was the first time that the Cougars special teams had an opportunity to return a kickoff there, and that was Anthony Bell, number 5, with a pretty good return there. And at this point, even if it's 9 yards deep in the end zone, you're going to have to bring it out to try to create some sort of offense, because on the previous 3 occasions when the Panthers kicked it off, it was nothing but touchbacks.
Bell, one of the players that we know from last year. Returning Cougar. We've got 2:50 left in the first half, fans. Peninsula right now leading by a margin of 30-0. Cougar still on the ground. Quarterback keeper turns around the side, gets upfield, takes a hit, goes down to a knee. Of course, that's automatically down at both the high school and collegiate level if you need touches. NFL, of course, you can keep going, but he's ruled down after a pickup of about 9, so it's a 2nd and 1 out at the 44-yard line. Once again, quarterback keeper. He's an awful little guy. They're keeping the ball as much as he is. They list him in the program very generously at 5'6", 155 pounds. As we mentioned to you, he's a sophomore.
He might be a small guy, Rufus, but that's been the only offense they've been able to muster up, as we only have 2:22 left here in the first half.
Well, at the pounding he's taking right now, he'll be a small guy standing on the sideline pretty soon. Not that we hope for that, but the kid's taking a beating out there against the option. They've got that pretty well stripped out. Small in size, big in heart. That's Taj Johnson, excuse me. Like I say, 155 pounds, 5'6".
Terrell Kendall had a nice run there on that pitch. Took it straight up the middle. Picked up the first down for the Cougars, even though the screen said 2nd and 4.
Sets up for a pass now. Here's the first pass upfield. He's got a man open and overthrows number 34, although I got to say that I don't think they're going to say that that's Antonio Johnson, 34. I think Antonio laid out for it a little bit late. His timing wasn't there. That pass was probably about as close as you could get. If he had laid out for it a little bit sooner, may have been able to come up with the catch.
And Antonio Johnson was wide open down the field there. And that might be what the Cougars need to do, is open up this offense a little bit, because the Peninsula Panthers are stacking up numerous men in the box, and it's been hard for the Cougars to create some sort of running game. As we get a look, everyone but 3 guys stopped up in the box.
It's an inside pitch, and they're going to call it an incompletion, shovel pass. So now it's a 3rd and 10 for the Cougars. And your point was well taken, Scott, as I looked at the line. Their deepest defensive back was only 6 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm. And the only way to expose that would be to open up a passing game.
If they're going to play 6 yards, this time they drop back just a little bit more.
Not too much, though.
Once again, inside handoff doesn't go any place, so it's going to make it a 4th down now for the Cougars. 4th and looks like about 4th and 11. Minute 18 left here in the first half. Cougars trailing by a margin of 30-0, and they're about to kick it away, but Peninsula asked for a timeout before the Cougars get the kick underway. That gives me an opportunity to tell you fans that we will return here to Halcap Field next week as the Cougars take on the Mustangs of Maricosta. So the road doesn't get any easier, Scott. You're talking about a powerful, dominant Maricosta program that's going to come in here next week to take on a Cougar team that has been slapped around most of this season, and right now getting smacked around pretty good here in the first half.
It's not going to get any easier with Maricosta. They are the dominant team, as they have been for the last 4 years in the Bay League. So the Cougars are going to have to look to muster up something and create something out of the norm, as most teams have to even contend with the Maricosta offense and defense. They have put out numerous players to the college level within the last couple of years, and they are just as strong this year as they're undefeated.
Here's the Cougar punt coming up. We're going to get an offside. Let's see. Well, we're going to have some type of penalty, procedure penalty, and it looks like it's going to go against the Cougars. Thought for a moment there may have been Peninsula, but that's not the way the officiating crew sees it. So now Cougars will be kicking from their own 30-yard line with a minute 14 left. Need to get this down the field. Just a little pretty good kick. Pretty good kick. It's going to be difficult to return. It is fielded. The first tackler lets him get away, but the gang gets there in time to stop him at the 29-yard line. Could have had him back at about the 20, somewhere between the 20 and 25, but they let him off the hook. But the Cougar special teams recover and get there.
Number 4 did something odd there. He started running forward before the punt was even kicked, and therefore it went over his head. He had to backtrack. He finally got behind the ball and caught it on the bounce, which was pretty risky if you ask me, being that the Panthers have already dropped, or could say botched, 2 punts from the Cougars. But fortunately for them, they recovered both of them.
So, with 1:08 left in the first half, ball out near the 30. Peninsula keeping it on the ground. Picking up again a good 9, close to a 10 on that one as they take it out near the 40. They're going to back it up just a little now, about a yard away, so it's going to be a 2nd down and 1 for Peninsula.
And that one went straight up the gut. Weird play call here for the Panthers is they called a timeout before the Cougars got to punt that ball. I'm thinking they were trying to spare some time from running out the clock, but now they're vying to run the ball. So I figure they're going to air it out, trying to tack some more points on the board before halftime.
Half a minute left, and they do pick up the first down. Let's see if they stop the clock now. The clock stops momentarily to allow to change the move. Now the referee signals for it to start back. Got 15 seconds left here in the first half. Cougars certainly wanting to contain the damage at this point. Peninsula keeping it on the ground. Cougars stopping it. That should be the final play of the half, and it is. So, after 1 half, our score is Peninsula 30 here at Halcap Field against the homestanding Cougars. The Cougars with a goose egg. I'm Rufus Washington, joined by Scott Goodman here at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, where it's our pleasure to bring you South Bay action tonight. We're going to take a pause for halftime festivities, and we will join you again at the top of the second half.
Stand by, dissolving to 4. 4 is hot. Stand by 4. Stand by, ready to dissolve to 1. Bring in the score. No, the space bar. The score. dissolving to 2, 2, and out, and
All right, fans, we're back for second half action. The second half kickoff will be getting underway in just a moment. We're waiting for the Panthers of Peninsula to take the field. Of course, I'm sure I didn't need to tell you that the Cougars here at home wear their burgundy and gold a la Southern Cal. And in a twist, of course, the visiting Panthers are clad in all white uniforms with the gold helmets. Having said all that and cleared up that little piece of housekeeping, again, let me remind you, I'm Rufus Washington, joined by Scott Gutman here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 as we bring you the South Bay Game of the Week. And this game so far has belonged to the Panthers, Scott, as they went into the locker room at the half, leading by a margin of 30-0 in this non-conference game against the Cougars of Peninsula.
Yeah, the Cougars went
Cougars
in.
of Hawthorne. What am I talking about? They got me discombobulated now.
Yeah, the Cougars went into the locker room scoreless, and we're coming into this broadcast in the second half, Dave Markless. Hopefully
Right.
Dave's A-okay.
And we certainly hope so. Dave, of course, did an admirable job of filling in last week in my stead, and he's a regular member of the broadcast booth here. That kick with the return gets it out to the 25-yard line. They're going to place it squarely on the 25 where it will be 1st and 10 for Peninsula as they start the second half. I should remind you, or at least make you aware, as I learned at halftime myself. First of all, there's a new head coach here at Hawthorne. That's Darryl Brown. But also on the coaching staff are Keith and Jason Miller, both of whom were former losing Olympians, had stellar careers there. Keith Miller went on to play at Alabama State, where he was a all-SWAC performer. And now back here in the home area, across town now, working with the Cougar program. And speaking with Jason and Keith's father at halftime, Scott, one of the things that was pointed out to me, and I think it's obvious to anybody here, is that the program is in a rebuilding mode, okay? Mm-hmm. And they're taking the long view, which you have to do when you're rebuilding. That success will come over time. It's not going to all come at one time, but we're going to work each week at it. We're going to get a little bit better, and that's the Cougar strategy. And let's see how that plays out here in the second half. I'm sure a number of things were gone over, and we'll see how that performs. We already see a little more activity along the defensive line as they come up with the switches. The running back turns up the field, and they stop him after a very short gain on the play of about 3. It's going to make it a 3rd down and about 4. Maybe 3rd and 3, let's call it.
It was a great wrap-up tackle there by cornerback Daniel Dennis. Did a superb job of bringing Moonday down. Can't say that for the rest of the Cougars defensive. They've had a tough time bringing him down on the initial contact. He's usually came out breaking a few tackles before he's brought down.
watch your focus. Take 2.
Keeping the ball on the ground yet again. This time the Cougars going to stop, and they aren't going to get the first down. So the Cougars come out here in the second half, and on the very first drive, they stopped the Peninsula offense, which had virtually been unstoppable in the first half, and they're going to get possession of the football here.
First time all game, the Cougars have got a defensive stop. Let's see if they can capitalize on it, as at this point they're down by 30 points, and time is ticking away. There isn't more time being added on the clock.
Guys, Cougar return, man, number 5 dropping way back to his 25-yard line. That looks like Bell lets the ball hit the ground, needs to pick it up, finally does. However, he's going to be brought down before he reaches the 20-yard line. A little stutter step attempted there. I think the idea was to try to trick him into thinking, yes, that was Anthony Bell, number 5, the senior, 5'9", 180-pound running back. To get him to buy into the fact that you aren't going to return it and perhaps overrun it. Peninsula didn't bite on it, so it will be Cougar ball 1st and 10 at their 19-yard line.
Just walk right out of your frame. Stand by, ready, 2.
And now Coach Darrell Brown's having a word with Bell. That was not the smartest of moves. They've lost several yards on that mishap.
Keeping the ball on the ground, running up the middle. That, of course, is the Cougar quarterback, and now he's going to come to the sideline. Not sure if he has any. Okay, just came over to get a set of instructions. Again, that's number 23, Taj Johnson. I was told that Raheem Stevens, who had been quarterback, is in fact injured. I'm not sure if he's unavailable, but I am told that he's injured. Cougar running play doesn't net much there.
To add to Raheem Stevens' absence this game, not to say that the Cougars are losing due to this, but they are also missing halfback Darrell Rushing. He's out with an MCL sprain, and I'm told he'll be out for the next 3 weeks. So some unfortunate injuries for the Cougars offense.
And that is a key factor, and I thank you for bringing that to my attention and the fans' attention, Scott. Because injuries wreak havoc on any team at any level.
That is true.
Third down play for the Cougars. Inside pitch. Ball on the ground. Some running room. The hole was open, closed up rather quickly, but I believe they got a first down out of it, and they did. So Cougars able to keep the drive alive here in the third quarter. We've got 8 minutes left in the third. As you watch the replay here, there you see the shuffle pass to the inside.
Yeah, I was surprised they still opted for that shovel pass, because on 2 previous occasions they had miscommunication, and it almost led to turnovers on both occasions. That time it ended up working in the Cougars' favor.
Good running there by Antonio Johnson on the prior play. That play just now, of course, was the quarterback, Taj Johnson.
The Johnson connection, huh?
And although we could see it, the Cougars actually had receivers up the field who were open. Perhaps the offensive coaching unit may have observed that. We may see the Cougars go to the air. Right now they come out, as they've shown all game, in a double wing. They send a man in motion. Here's a pitch to the inside. They don't get anything out of that particular play.
Panthers defensive line there did a superb job of chop blocking the offensive lineman for the Cougars. In doing so, they basically took away any holes that would have been available on that run and came up with that tackle, and Cougars came out with no yards on that run.
So it is a 3rd and about 5 for the Cougars now. They're going to call it 4 officially, so we'll call it 4 as well. 3rd and 4, they need to get it out. The nose of the football needs to get across the 40 to pick up the first down. Once again, man in motion. Quarterback keeper turning the corners, not going to get it, not even close.
Great tackle there for the Panthers, number 88. Nice wrap tackle. Good hot pursuit there on Cougars quarterback Taj Johnson. And now it looks like the Cougars special teams is coming on the field once again.
So the Cougar running game, which is mostly in the form tonight of Taj Johnson, again, not successful that time in picking up the first down on a 3rd and 5. 4th and 9. They punt it away. A high kick. It's a short kick, though, and it sails out of bounds, and they're going to declare it out of bounds right at midfield. So, once again, Peninsula has the advantage as they lead here 30-0 with 6:18 left in the third. Scott, of only working with a 50-yard football field.
Yeah, the Cougars can't afford little miscues like that. They've done it turnover-wise. They've done it on special teams, and that's not going to get them back in this game. And Peninsula's offense has to be coming on the field with their chops a-drooling and the teeth a-shining, as they got to be pretty happy about that one.
Well, once again, the Cougar defense, which has spent a lot of time on the field. As you noted in the first half, Scott, there were a number of 3-and-outs or maybe picking up 1 first down Here's the ball on the ground. Once again, the pile moves forward about 5 yards, 5 whole yards, man, because the ball was right at the midfield stripe. And now they're going to mark it in Cougar territory at inside the Cougar 45-yard line.
Panthers have been doing that all game, running that I formation and running Moonday straight up the gut. Has yet to fail.
Cougar numbers as they will continue to grow this program. You look on the sideline, they're a little bit thin. There are 11 guys out on the field. There are probably another 15 or 20 here. So they're about 30 strong now. In order to have a good program, they're going to need some more guys. I mean, football is a very demanding sport, Scott, very demanding physically. And we've got a flag on the play. Let's see. And the indication is that it's holding against the Panthers.
So we're going to go back 10 on this one. On that play, though, number 40 gave Jordan Moonday a superb block, which opened it up. And the holding was definitely not on him. It's probably on one of the interior linemen. So this now is giving the Cougar defense something to work with here.
Yeah.
As the Panthers have just about 15 yards to go, and it's second down.
Cougar band, I should say, as you watch them coming off the field here, actually did an outstanding job at halftime, fans. They alone are worth the price of admission. Peninsula keeping the ball on the ground, picks up a good chunk of that yardage back as they get it back to the 45-yard line where it was originally. Let's spot the down. It's third down, so it's going to be 3rd and 5. Another opportunity for the Cougar defense, if they can, to get a hold here.
This is where the Cougars have to capitalize. Panthers still have about 5 yards to go for this first down. They've only stopped them once defensively. This could be a big stop to get them back in the game.
Cougars don't show blitz. Panthers keep the ball on the ground. They're going to be stopped short of the first down. Now the question, considering where they are, this isn't out of the realm of possibility, Scott, that they might go for it here.
That is a big possibility. It's been 2 plays in a row. They've given a quick give to the fullback, Dane Mork, who's a 5'11", 182 junior. So we'll be seeing him next year in action, and that's a bright spot there for the future of the Peninsula Panthers. And it looks like they're going for it as the Peninsula Panthers sidelines making some noise.
On the 4th and 2, yes, they are. So they are challenging the Cougar defense right here. Cougar defense got to play smart, avoid giving them the cheap thing. They fake it. Now quarterback keeper, he turns upfield. He's got the first down and then some. Finally driven out of bounds, but not until after he crosses the 20, 30-yard line, gets down to about the 25. They spot it at the 26 officially, where it's going to be a 1st and 10 for Peninsula.
Well, that was great play calling there by Tony Rubio, the 4th-year coach for the Peninsula. If we can look, play action there. He runs the bootleg. The Cougar defense completely bit for it. He had nothing but green in front of him, and he finally got tracked down after about a 15-yard gain by the Cougars' backfield, and that was number 18, Marcus Butler, who finally brought him down. So a great play call there by Tony Rubio as the Cougars had everyone stacked up in the box.
And again, they keep it on the ground this time for a short gain. Of course, you can't fault the Cougar defense too much on that, on a quarterback keeper.
Oh, no, the way the Panthers have been pounding it straight up the gut, you have to stack all the defenders up in the box. I mean, that was just a great call there by Tony Rubio.
And I say that also in consideration of the running backs that Peninsula had on the field at that time. You had to play the running backs that they have, number 34 and 4, pretty honestly.
Yeah.
This time operating out of the eye. They give it to the second back through. And he's going to push it down near the first down.
Let's get a look at Moonday there, Rufus. Wouldn't be a surprise if we see him at the next level playing on Saturdays at some powerhouse college.
Although it wouldn't surprise me if they change his position in college. He's pretty big for a, and when I say big, I mean height-wise for a back.
I'm told a lot of teams are actually looking at him defensively as a strong safety.
Okay. I also see him as a receiver with that size. I don't know what his speed is like, although he hits the hole there, bounces outside, cuts it inside. I do know his footwork is very good.
Superb footwork. As you pointed out right there, when you get a look at him running the ball, his footwork is superb. He's on his toes. He keeps his leg moving at all times. Good, sound, fundamental football being played there.
So we've got 124 and moving. That's one thing about a game that features the run. The clock continues to roll, man. We can get out of here. We still got time to,
Yeah, we're only at 8:33 p.m. The game started at 7. We're almost through 3 quarters. That's an aberration from what happened last week as the losing our Altaloma game. That game ended at 10:30 at night.
Touchdown.
That's Moonday who once again took it in. That is his 4th touchdown on the game. You'd want to say a career day for him, but he does that on a normal basis for the Peninsula Panthers.
So with 58 seconds left in the third, Moonday pushes it in from about 3 yards out.
As we get a look at the replay, gets the handoff. Good block there by number 40, and Moonday takes it straight up the gut. Gets hit finally, but it was too late as he was already in the end zone. As number 18, Marcus Butler, tried to lay a body on him, which he did, but he already crossed the plane of the goal line.
Here's the extra point attempt. It's up, and it is good. So, that looked like Jason Miller there to me. In fact, I know it was Jason. That makes our score now 37-0. So, in 7 quarters of football over 2 weeks, the Cougars have been outscored 71-0.
That's not a pretty sight nor a pretty sound if you're the Hawthorne High Cougars. Given last week they did play against a Division I school in the city section, being the Crenshaw High Cougars, who year in and year out filled a superb high school football team at the varsity level. But to come in and for the 2nd week in a row be shut out like this against a Peninsula High Panther team that is real good.
Well, Peninsula is no slouch either. And then, of course, you got, and as I said, the road doesn't get any easier because you got Maricosta coming in here next week. But the fans have got to stay with it. The players have got to stay with it. You got to keep your chin up. I can tell you, fans, as a coach myself, I've gone through and I know the feeling of losing. It's not a very pleasant feeling, but you work at what you believe in.
And there was no knee that went to the ground for a touchback. I'm wondering if that is a high school rule that's been implemented. I'm not too sound on little aspects of high school rules when it comes to football, but he did not put a knee down to sign that he wanted a touchback. He caught it in the end zone, and the referee just did not allow him to take it out whatsoever. You've been covering high school football for 15 years, Rufus. Have you seen that before in your previous years?
That's the first time I've seen it applied, but you know what? I live right around the corner from CIF offices, and I'll either give them a call on Monday, or if we get a chance to get an interpretation from the officials before the game's over, we'll do that as well.
So Rufus will be knocking on the CIF doors on Monday, huh?
Just trying to get a understanding. I can tell you, and we've got an injured Cougar on the field. Number 33 is our injured Cougar, and that is Terrell Kendall. Kendall limping off under his own power. Shakes off the assistants. Hopefully it's just a tweaked ankle.
We have a Peninsula Panther down as well. Kendall's had a couple touches this game. Not a good sight to see 2 players from both teams down simultaneously, but hey, this is football. It happens.
Well, the Panther that's down would appear at this stage, considering the manner in which they're treating him, to have a cramp in his leg. He pops right up, and that's what it was, obviously.
We did see that a lot last week in the Lusinger Altaloma game, being that the Lusinger Olympians play numerous players on both sides of the ball. They tend to cramp up and get a little fatigued at the latter stages of the game. And I'm telling you, in the fourth quarter, we saw maybe a half a dozen Olympians come off the field with cramps.
That's where you've got to keep a lot of water in your system. Cramps are a direct result of a lack of fluids in your body. Once again, ball kept on the ground and racked up for a loss of 2 on the play. Is a Cougar quarterback, Taj Johnson.
Well, the pursuit by the Panthers defense there and Taj Johnson was phenomenal. They just read that right off the bat. They've seen a couple plays similar to that style ran, and they knew just to pursue him. He didn't have anyone in the backfield to pitch it to run an option. It was just him, and that's it. They had no one downfield to throw it to, so there was no other option for him but to keep it himself. And the Panthers knew that, and they read it well.
So we've got 3 quarters in the books, and after 3, our score, the Panthers of Peninsula leading the Cougars of Hawthorne by a margin of 37-0 on Lawndale's Community Cable TV. This broadcast being brought to you by the good folks at Lawndale Cable Usage Corporation, along with the folks at Hawthorne Community Cable, and again, our corporate partner, Time Warner Sports. So it's a real pleasure to be here with you. We've got 12 more minutes of action. Of course, what we're looking at right now, again, as we say, we're looking to see steps of progress, and that's what I want the fans to hold on to. We're in a rebuilding mode and a rebuilding phase, and patience is the operative word. What you want to see is progress, play by play, quarter by quarter, game by game. It's Cougar football, 3rd and 7. Johnson drops back to pass. Now Johnson drops under, does release it, and hits a receiver, and he gets a first down out of it.
Well, on that play, Johnson had number 27, Devon Clark, wide open. He was waiting for the ball. He just didn't get it to him, but he did find the read with number 88. That's the tight end, Simone Mafu Cooley, and he ended up picking up a couple yards there. So on the bright side of the Cougars still being winless is the fact that none of these games are league games, and we all know that league games are what counts. It doesn't matter what you do in your non-league games because it's a clean slate once you start league.
There's a double reverse, little flea flicker there. That's good for about 2 yards on the play. I should also mention the fact that not only with the folks down on the field that we've talked about, new coach Darryl Brown also being very capably assisted by Keith Miller and Jason Miller, and I'm sure some others, but also up here in the booth and part of the program as well, Corey Thetford, who played here. I worked with Corey's dear aunt many years ago at HUD, along with Caven Jackson, another member of the Cougar program from years gone by. So it's a family affair, to say the least, that the Cougars, tough hit laid on number 27 there. Legal hit, mind you.
That did not look pretty as Devon Clark was completely turned around. His back was to the Peninsula Panther defender, and he just took a hit in the back.
And he's showing a little wear for it as he goes back to the huddle with his hand on his hips.
It was a nifty little play there by Taj Johnson. He was wrapped up and about to fall to his knees, and he basically just handed the ball over to Devon Clark. And unfortunately, Devon Clark was stuck in a peculiar situation as he was wrapped up and he had his back turned.
It's a 3rd and 9 now for the Cougars. Situation they found themselves in quite often tonight, 3rd and long. And now they're going to be forced to call a timeout. Quarterback Taj Johnson pops up from under center and says, give me a timeout. Let's reset the offense.
Well, with the non-league schedule that the Hawthorne Cougar football program is set up, being Loyola the first game, Long Beach Jordan the second game, Crenshaw High the third game, and of course tonight we have the Peninsula Panthers, and then to top it off, next week we have the Maricosa Mustangs. This could be a good thing as they enter league play. When you're playing against top caliber, top talent throughout the Los Angeles area, I'm pretty sure, and I think the coaching staff would agree with me, as well as you, Rufus, it does prepare you, and it takes you to a whole nother level as you enter league play. This is just preparation for league play, and they've been preparing against top-of-the-line teams. You can't ask for a higher caliber of talent than we've seen the Cougars go up against in their first 4 weeks, and it will be their 5th week next week against a Maricosa team that has dominated the Bay League the last couple of years.
And of course, I don't need to tell you that due to the realignment that took place a little over a year ago, the Cougars now operate out of the Ocean League. And the Ocean League has as its member schools North Torrance, West Torrance, Santa Monica, and Redondo. Losinger, of course, operates in the Bay League that it has been in. Of course, all these schools, I can remember when they were in the Pioneer League, and they've been in the Ocean League, and the Bay League. And now, of course, and there were times when they were in the same league and they were split. But they're split right now, Losinger in the Bay League, along with Inglewood, Beverly Hills, Peninsula, and Maricosta.
That is the evolution of the South Bay Athletic Association. It's always changing.
That's a pretty good kick there. It's a low-line drive. It's returnable, but it does give the Cougar special teams a chance to get there, and they do as the ball is downed at the 40-yard line. And again, Cougars getting popped around on the field pretty good. One of the things, and as you look at areas in which your program is growing, one of the areas that obviously will need to grow is you got to bring more kids out of the community into the program. Mm-hmm. Cougars fielding a squad of 28 players, of which, and let's be realistic, a number of the 11 that are on the field go both ways, and you got to have a little bit more talent than that. So the talent rank is a little thin right now, but we know that that's going to improve over time. Peninsula with the ball on the ground right now, running the ball control offense. They've got, as I like to say to my guys, we got enough points to win. The thing now, if you're Peninsula, and certainly if you're both teams, but you want to get out of here with as few injuries as possible.
Rufus, as we look at these two former South Bay powerhouses, in the years that you've been doing these games, we know that Peninsula and Hawthorne High have had some memorable clashes as they were the dominant teams back in, early 90s, mid-90s. Is there any distinct memory you have from this rivalry, a distinct game, a distinct player, a distinct moment?
Oh, well, I can tell you there are quite a few of them. We've been here. We've seen games go down to the last play both ways. I guess the most memorable thing and the thing that makes high school sports so much fun, one, is just the passion of the fans to come into here and to see it be a full house on both sides, first of all, and then for the game to live up to that expectation. And there were many, many games. And a couple of times the Peninsula was a better team, and 1 or 2 times the Cougars jumped up and beat them. All right, so no, there are a number of good members. Obviously, the most memorable games when you come into Halcap Field certainly have something to do with that team in blue and white across town. Yeah.
I've been a part of a couple of those.
Yeah.
Some interesting encounters between the Olympians and the Cougars, especially the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And, of course, fans know that as we have done over the last many years, we conclude our regular season coverage with the Mayor's Cup, which this year will be held at Losinger as they will host Hawthorne on November 14th. So we got about 5 weeks out from that game.
So Cougars finally get a defensive stop here. Special teams units on the field. So this is the first time in 2 years that we are headed over to the other side of Hawthorne Boulevard to cover the Mayor's Cup. The last 2 years it's been over here at Halcap Field, and that was not a disappointment, to say the least. 2 memorable games in the last 2 years.
Forces a timeout by Peninsula.
Rufus, just like basketball, hopefully we'll have some extended coverage as one of these 2 teams, Hawthorne or losing, or will make the playoffs, football-wise.
Well, our hope is Channel 22 Sports, of course, under the expert direction of one Mr. Tom Strickfaden, has not let the fans down over the years. If our teams have been in the playoffs and it's been reasonable, we've been there. And, of course, we know that we had a great run during the basketball season. I'm not promoting basketball fans. One, I know that this is football. Now we've got a flag on the play from the referee. It's going to be a roughing the kicker. Looks like we should have a face mask penalty down on this end. We don't get the call, but that's going to come back, and Peninsula is going to retain possession as if they needed it with 6:56 left in the contest. Again, that was one of those things, fans, when you watch it on the replay. Let's look at the good part of what happened there. Excellent work by the Cougar special team to get in. If we have a replay on it, that's a fundamental. The guy ran into the kicker. Yeah, it's a penalty. Yes, Peninsula will get the ball back. But let's watch the good part that happened. There you see 2 guys break through. We don't see the end of it. In his lunge at the ball, his forward momentum took him into the kicker. That results in the penalty. So it was a good effort that ended up with a bad result. You reward the effort, you build on that, and you teach the technique of how to avoid that in the future. And there you see the end of that replay where I thought perhaps there was a face mask call. What it does, though, as we talked about, Scott, is that it keeps the Cougar defense on the field that much longer. That, of course, wears these guys down. And the more you get, the tireder you get, a couple of things happen that aren't good for you. First of all, you're more susceptible to injury, right? First and foremost. Them scoring is immaterial at this point. Let's face it, this game is in the bag. Peninsula will leave here tonight with a win. The only thing in doubt now is the margin of victory. So you don't concern yourself with that. You concern yourself with what can I do, 1, to protect my players. 2, kids are out there. They're a little bit tired. I know big number 73 has been out on the field quite a long time, giving it all that he has. We may as well give him some props because I've seen him line up on virtually every defensive play tonight. Now we've got another flag coming in from the referee. Number 73, of course, is Matila Lasike is the way I'm going to pronounce it now, and I will check with someone from the Cougar program to make sure that I'm doing that correctly.
We just got the A-OK, that's correct. Yeah, the Cougars are going to have a long week of practice next week. Panthers, on the other hand, looks like they have most of their second stringers in the game. They're going to prepare next week for our North High School team, and that should be an interesting affair between the 2 teams. So North High is going to have a run for their money next week heading in against the Peninsula Panthers. And that is going to be an Ocean League foe coming up in the next couple weeks for the Hawthorne High Cougars is North High. When you look at the Ocean League, there isn't one particular standout team that could just dominate the league. Like when you look at the Bay League, one would predict Maricosa as the odds-on favorite, and you'd be silly not to, being their history the last 3-4 years and the talent that they have. When we look at the Ocean, Hawthorne, North, Redondo, Santa Monica, and West, there's no standout team there. So when Hawthorne comes into league play, they have just as good of a chance as any other team to take the Ocean League title.
Once again, they keep the ball on the ground. Quarterback keeper, he turns it up. Host of Cougars there to bring him down, led by none other than number 11 and number 33. 11, of course, is Danye Lampley, and number 33 for the Cougars. And our program is Terrell Kendall. Cougars also a relatively young team. There's a smattering of seniors in the lineup, but for the most part, you see a lot of 10s and 11s. That tells us sophomores and juniors and even 1 or 2 freshmen out here playing. So, again, there are kids in the pipeline, and more kids will be attracted to the program as it continues to grow and develop.
Yeah, this is a very, very young Cougar team. This is one of the youngest teams I've ever actually seen a high school football program slate, and that's a good thing because next year, maybe by the end of this year, this team could be playing at the higher level.
That pass incomplete, thrown up the field, and we've got a injured Cougar down on the field on the far sideline. Didn't see who it was. We know that he was in pursuit of the quarterback. They rolled him over on his back. Some sportsmanship being demonstrated there by one of the trainers, if I'm not mistaken. Well, perhaps it wasn't. I thought it was one of the trainers from Peninsula. But it is members of the Cougar coaching staff who are out to attend to him. Now up on his feet, seemingly okay. That's number 53, and he's going to walk over to the side here. Number 53. That's Halafihi Tai.
Looks like the Cougars trainer got a little bit of grass on his shirt.
We're at 3:40. Clock is stopped momentarily. It will start back in just a moment. Cougars with the ball. They keep it on the ground. Cougars would love to, if nothing else, certainly squeeze a score out here. Scott?
That would definitely leave a sweeter taste in their mouth, but the Peninsula Panthers are definitely leaving Hal Kepfield with a sweet taste in their mouth, as Coach Tony Ruberu has to be very well pleased with the performance that the Panthers have put on, coming off that heartbreaking 14-14 tie against Highland, where they missed a field goal with seconds left on the clock. Their star kicker, Jordan Kay, as I said before, is getting highly recruited by numerous colleges across the country. He missed a 49-yard field goal by inches as the Panthers were looking for their first victory, but they're going to get it here tonight.
Yeah, and there aren't many. There we go to the air. Does the receiver see it? And it's incomplete. We've got a flag on the play. Back up the field. From the look of this call, it's one of those, and I've seen a lot in my day. I must admit, it's hard for me to interpret that one.
Downfield was number 45, Vunu Tui Halamaka. Came real close to snatching that ball out of the air. He was just turned around the opposite direction. He had to twist his body at an awkward angle to retrieve it, but it doesn't matter because there's a penalty against the Panthers, and the Cougars are now going to have the ball at midfield.
It looks like the call was roughing the passer, and from the additional movement of the ref, looks like he's signaling that one of the Panthers threw an elbow at the Cougar quarterback. They send the man in motion. He pulls it down, keeps it himself, got a lot of field this way. Let's see if he can turn the corner. Tries to turn the corner, gets it up to the 35-yard line, where that's enough for the first down. So with 2:30 clock running, Cougars making a little noise here. As I said, they would love to put some points on the board, Scott, and as you said, that would certainly give some positive momentum going into next week.
Let's go look at the replay. Taj Johnson does a superb job of changing field, runs to the near side of the screen, and we're going to get a look at a good stiff arm here that got him additional 3 yards there, and he's finally drugged down after picking up the first down.
Timeout taken on the field. Looks like that timeout is called by Peninsula. I know that's at least their second timeout, if in fact it's charged to Peninsula.
We get a look there at the Cougars huddling up. They'll have a lot to talk about this week of practice coming up, as they're going to have to prepare for a tough Maricosta Mustang football team. And we'll actually be covering them 2 times this year, as we'll be doing the game with them and losing or across the street.
Exactly. Well, and glad that you mentioned it, Scott. We also have them coming up on the 31st on Halloween night right here at Hellcap. The Samoa Vikings from Santa Monica make the trip down the 405 to take on the Cougars. So we've got that game. We've got the Mustangs of Miracosta next week. And then, of course, as I mentioned, on November 14th, we go over to Lusinger to take on the Olympians. And win, lose, or draw, that's one of those games as the Cougars keep it on the ground. And by far the best offensive thrust of the night as number 33, Terrell Kendall, takes it down to the 15-yard line.
We've seen that play run a couple times this game. It was well executed that time. Quick pitch to 33, Terrell Kendall, and he got a burst of momentum there and got the biggest gain of the night for the Cougars.
And Kendall just ran over number 11 for Peninsula. Quarterback keeper. Looks short gain, if any, on the play. Tried to turn the corner. They're actually going to say it lost a foot or so on the reverse, or as he tried to reverse course.
So the Cougars are now looking to get that goose egg off the scoreboard there, and they're going to have 1 minute and 27 seconds to do so, and they're going to have to go about 20 yards unless they were to kick a field goal. Taj Johnson has played a superb game. He's played his tail off tonight. He's had a couple bright moments, a couple big runs, a couple nice passes, but all in all, it's been a long night for him going heads up with this Peninsula Panther defense, which is very big and very quick up front.
Looks like it's about a 2nd and 11 for the Cougars.
Sure was a nice night for football, though. Would you say, Rufus?
Sure was. Outstanding night. Jason Miller, obviously the offensive coordinator, I believe. I know that Jason Ork is the offensive, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Keith is the defensive coordinator. Here's a pitch back to number 8. He's going to reverse field, looks up the field. So now it's going to be stacked up for a loss on the play.
Well, the Cougars were looking for a trick play there as that pitch to number 8, Alexander Gaines, was pitched to him. And as it was pitched, quarterback Taj Johnson ran near side of the field looking for the ball, but he was covered perfectly by the Peninsula Panther defense. That was looking somewhat like a play that the Nebraska Cornhuskers run a couple years with their Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Couch. Eric Crouch, pardon me.
There you go. Cougars just chuck it up in the air, which is what I would have done. And touchdown, Cougars! Number 34 of the Cougars fought for it, had to fight off the defender. That's Antonio Johnson. And then Johnson gets the touchdown. And we've got some additional something here way away from the ball where we're going to have an injured player down on the field. I got to tell you, I was looking up the field. I have no idea what happened. I see big number 78 for the Cougars. Let's watch the replay first, and we'll talk about this.
Wow, he used the Peninsula Panthers DB to catch that ball. Exactly. He used his helmet to gain momentum of that ball, and it looked like he lost it there at the end.
But they're going to say he had it long enough. If we can see that replay again.
Wow, that is one for the highlight reels. Is an awkward situation occurred there. He basically lodged the ball between the Peninsula Panthers' helmet and his body.
Well, the question now is whether there was sufficient possession for it to be a touchdown.
Still bobbling around.
Possession,
still bobbling around.
There's possession there, and that's what the referee saw and held when he brought it in. Looks like he got away from him when he went to his knee. Well, yeah. Good call by the official. I think that's a touchdown all the way. More importantly right now, and this is what I said earlier, Scott, this is what every coach knows and dreads when you've got a game that's done and over with score-wise. Even though there's time on the clock, what you want to accomplish is getting your players off the field, and that kid doesn't even know what day of the week it is right now. And they're taking him off. That's number 54, Peninsula. Right now, we, in the spirit of good sportsmanship, hope that the young man is going to be okay, but he's obviously in a lot of pain and quite dazed, as that brief shot that we saw of his face would indicate.
Yeah.
And that doesn't look good. I'll be quite honest with you. The condition of his leg, if in fact his leg, does not look good at all. Somehow or another got tangled up, I was going to say, with number 78. But again, all of our attention was diverted away from it. So quite frankly, I have no idea what happened. We'll just wish the best for him. Extra point attempt coming up here. Cougars indicating that they're going to go for 2. Johnson with the keeper. Johnson pitches it back, and it's going to sail out of bounds. So Cougars failed to convert on the 2-point attempt, but with 43 seconds left, they do score on the touchdown pass, and they get a little something positive. So after having gone 7 quarters, 11 minutes, and 17 seconds without a score, the Cougars finally get on the board, and they do it in pretty nifty fashion.
That they did, and it's a good thing that they finally end that scoreless streak. Got a score of 37-6.
Should we expect an onside kick here?
I guess at this point, if they were to do an onside kick, it'd be for the fun of it and to practice their special teams, because at this point it's not going to make a difference. And the way the ball's set up on the ground, it looks like they are. The ball's completely flat.
And I've said it before, and I want to say it again one more time. The Cougar band has impressed me tonight. I mean, they've kept the energy level up. They've entertained well. The Cougars kick it away here.
They opted for the swivel kick.
It's going to be down by Peninsula outside the 20 at about the 23, and with 39 seconds left on the clock, I'm almost certain now that they're going to be content to take a knee and get out of here.
One would think so, as this game is all but locked up, and both teams are going to have to look forward to next week, as there's going to be some competitive action going on here in the South Bay, as there is tonight. There's some intriguing games tonight.
So we've got 38 seconds left in the game. Peninsula under center. Every indication now we've got a flag on the play. Looks like Peninsula had too many men on the field. If that flag holds up, as we see one of the guys, number 12, there sprinting off, and that's the indication, too many men on the field. So now it looks like we've got another whistle. Indication is run the clock. Did they snap it? Presumably they did. The clock winds down. About 25 seconds left. 22 and counting. Now Peninsula comes up. I don't think they're going to run another play. Referee picks up the ball with 13. Well, let's see. I mean, there's strange things going on now. I mean, these guys have me totally confused. I mean, are we going to play out the last 13 seconds? Or are we going to call it a game? Fans, it looks like the officials are going to call it a game. Now, I don't know that they've called it. It's the final play of the game. This one's in the books. Our final score here at Halcap Field. The Peninsula Panthers come in and they eke out a 37-6 win. But the Cougars got some positives going there on that last drive, Scott, and I think that they've got something to continue building on, and we know that they will. But tonight they took a thumping at the hands of a very good football team in the form of the Peninsula Panthers. But you go back to practice next week, you regroup, and you look at what can we do next week. And, boy, they got to start thinking about next week as soon as they get in the locker room, because it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, it was a strong, hard-fought game for both teams. Fortunately, the Cougars are coming out on the losing end, and fortunately for the Peninsula Panthers, they're coming out on the winning end. Both teams, like you said, are going to have to look forward to next week and prepare for another foe. It's going to come down to league play coming up here in the next few weeks. So at that point, when they do come down to league play in the next couple weeks, there's not going to be, well, let's wait till here, let's do this then, because it's here and now when you get into league play.
Yeah.
Because that's when it counts.
And as you see, as we wrap up the broadcast, and there you get a shot of the Cougar Band. As we said, they haven't put on a good show. But once again, let's talk about the good things that happened tonight. First of all, after, as we mentioned, 7 quarters of being scoreless, the Cougars do get on the board. They do get some positives to work with. We know, first of all, that they aren't going anywhere. They aren't running from anybody. They're going to show up next week, and we got a game. They're going to play it, and we're going to broadcast it, fans, and it's going to be right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. But tonight wasn't their night. It belonged to the Panthers of Peninsula from off the hill. We'll give them every credit. Our final score as we wrap it up on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Let us tell you, though, before we give you the final, that this broadcast, as it has been for so many years, brought to you by the good folks at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 at Hawthorne Community Cable Channel 22, and in conjunction with our corporate partner, Time Warner. Our production crew, I will tell you, is headed by none other than the inimitable, the famous one, Mr. Tom Strickfaden. For Scott Goodman and for Dave Marks in absentia, I'm Rufus Washington, saying our final was officially 37-6 in favor of Peninsula, but we'll be back next week to watch these Cougars right here at Hal Cap Field take on the Mustangs of Miracosta from the Bay League. Fans, be good, be safe, and we'll see you in a week. Good night.
Good night.
Stand by, ready to fade out. Lose the CG.